And welcome to the class. Thank you very much for joining us. First off, I'd just like to tell you that now you've pressed play, you shouldn't have to rewind the class or fast forward. All the breaks and the bits for you to try stuff are built into the class. So it may be that you're kind of quite fast at doing things, so if you are, feel free to have a little chat. So there is a comments box just underneath here. That's not always the easiest way to comment, and people are finding that actually the messenger box that we set up before the class is a bit easier. The other good thing about the messenger box is that you can also share your photos of what you're up to. So that's nice because it gives people a sense of, again, being together, and people can see what their classmates are doing and how they're getting on. And also the tutor can have a look as well. So the tutor is here, so do use them and ask them sort of any questions that you might have. So there's a bit in the film that you're not clear of or you're struggling with, do sort of put those questions to them, and they're there to do that. So it's an added bonus on, just an online tutorial. If you're a little bit slower and you like to take your time over things, then at the end of each doing session, which is marked by a clock, you will find that there's a buzzer that goes off. So please do come back and join us, because again, it's kind of trying to keep everyone together in the same class doing the same thing at the same time, roughly. Yeah, and if you then want to recap, or there's a bit that you've missed, the videos are going to stay online for the near to foreseeable future, so you can always go back and have a little look at those again, and also share them on with anyone that you think might enjoy it too. I think that's probably about it from me, so I will hand over to myself, which is a bit odd, or maybe to one of our guest tutors. All right, enjoy. You find me in my kitchen today. I wanted to show you how to make a really simple laundry bag that the NHS are requesting. So the idea is that people can put their scrubs and uniform in, and it keeps it all separate from their family's laundry, and stops the kind of risk of kind of infection growing. So I just thought I'd show you this first. So I used to do a project called Rags to Riches, and we used to get donations of fabric and things, and one day a chap came and he said he'd lost loads of weight, so he wanted to donate his big shirts to us, and we kind of wondered what we could do with these big shirts, and we realised that actually if we chopped off the top bit there and we chopped off the bottom bit and we sewed them together and use the buttons, we could make what we were using as pillowcases, but could just as likely be used for putting in kind of your kit. So I'm not going to show you how to make one of those today. If people want to kind of know how to make them, they're pretty straightforward, but I can do that as a separate class. But just thought I'd show you that in case you've got lots of big shirts hanging around, and it sort of expresses the kind of ethos of a lot of kind of what I do, which is trying to take things that you no longer need for one purpose and give them a new lease of life. So we have been living a really kind of quite frugal life with just very limited stuff, so we've had one lot of bedding for quite a while, and been quite enjoying taking the bedding off of a morning, getting it washed, getting it on the line and back on the bed, not having to think where am I going to store all these pillowcases and duvets and things like that, because they're just stored on your bed. So it's been quite liberating, but recently we've got some stuff back of our own, and in amongst there was lots of pillowcases, which rather than just sort of store them again and maybe just they get full of dust, and then by the time you come to use them you've got to wash them again anyway, rather than do that, I thought I'd try and work out how to make them into some laundry bags. So I had a little look on YouTube, and I've adapted this slightly so that we can use up all of the pillow. So you find at the top of each pillow it's got this kind of bit, which is obviously for you to tuck your pillow in. So we're going to get rid of that for now. So this one, it goes quite far down, so we're going to have to chop across there, and I'm not a precision sewer, so I just kind of, you could measure it if you wanted, but I'm probably just going to chop and hope that it's roughly straight. So I'm going to chop that bit off there, so that you've just got a bag now. This bit we will use again, so we're going to use this for the tag for the string that goes around the top. So you could use string or yarn or ribbon or a piece of cord, but if you haven't got that and you want to use up all of your pillowcase, we're going to use this. So I'm going to chop that there to make that into the top of the string bit of the bag. A few minutes just so that you can have a go at that. So find the edge, chop it off, and chop this bit so that it's a straight bit as well. So that's your task, just should take you just a few minutes. All right, cheerio. Do first off is we need to create a slit down one side of our pillowcase. So along the seam, just cut a slit, probably about, what's that, about 2 inches. So you've got a slit there. I'll chop that bit off because we don't really need that bit. And this is going to be the opening where our thread goes into. So we're going to turn that over. If we can manage to do it twice, all the better. I'm just going to give that a little iron. So this is a tricky bit. So the bit that if it's a parent and child team, it might be best to get the parent to have a go at this because you can burn your fingers along the way. So this is just so that this edge isn't raw, basically. So we're going to, you can tell I'm not well versed with an iron. And I'm going to put some pins in that just to keep it held in place. And that's going to be the first bit we're going to sew, so I'll go away. So if you can do that foldy bit, and then the next bit of film, you'll see we'll stitch that bit up.
Sleep tonight in this old familiar room. Street lights hide the night, starlight fills this room. These days are hard in times of trouble. The morning sun breaks to the dawn of a new day. Can I take another hard week? Could I run a little faster? These days are hard in times of trouble. Sound watching satellites fall at your feet. I am so tired that I cannot sleep. Would you stay with me? Will you be my star across the river? Cold wind sunset at the push a little harder. Regrets won't last forever. These days are hard in times of trouble. Stop watching satellites fall at your feet. And I am so tired that I cannot sleep. Would you stay with me? Will you be my star-crossed lover? I miss you. Do you miss me too? Stop watching satellites fall at your feet. And I am so tired that I cannot sleep. Would you stay with me? Will you be my star-crossed
So we'll give it a little go. So all we're trying to do on this bit of sewing, it doesn't really matter how kind of messy it looks. We're just trying to make sure that that edge is not going anywhere. So we'll just do any old stitch to make sure that that's, so we're going to do, I'll do a running stitch along here, and these bits I normally sort of go over them twice, so go over with a running stitch, which is in and out. So you bring it up a bit closer so you can, yep. So in, so you can see you've got, that's what it's called, a running stitch. So let's take that pin out because it's getting in the way now. So just want to make sure, so you're putting your needle in underneath. So if I did that in different things, so it's going through the yarn and then it's coming back up through the yarn, fabric, sorry, I've done a lot of knitting lately. So basically what you're doing is you're just gathering it up like that, so that's when it gets a bit quicker. You can just go through like that, but you're basically going in like that and then back out. It keeps going a bit blurry. My other camera, which I normally use, is in storage at the moment, so I'm just on my phone. So, and then once I've kind of done a bit the running stitch along there, you can see I'm not a particularly neat stitcher, but I do enjoy it. I just go back and do a stitch into the edge. So we're just going through the fabric, picking up that edge, coming back through again. But yeah, any old stitch will do for this bit. We're not going to see this, it's just functional. If you were doing it on the sewing machine, you'd do something like a V-stitch to just catch the edge. That's a hand stitching, you just need it to, oh, out, got myself. First time in ages. But when you start, you do get yourself a little bit. And then when we get to the end of any stitching, we put it through, and instead of pulling it right through, we go into this loop bit. So put it through there, and that finishes it off so that it doesn't all unravel. If we didn't do that, it would just all unravel again and we'd be back to square one. So through the loop. Ooh, where's it gone? There's the loop. And then we cut it off, but I've got no scissors, so I shall tear it off for this one. So there's your thing. As I say, it's not particularly good looking, and because I've done it in the wrong colour thread. You'd do it in a white thread or a light thread. And then you need to do the other one. So I will leave you to do that one and tie those up, and then we'll be back at the ironing board, I'm afraid. So my nemesis.
Once we get to walk upon this earth, twice we get to make a mistake and learn. 3 times is enough to realize you're stronger than all of your doubts. And for me, live your days like every second counts. Fire and be fired at. Wear your love as a shield and a charm. And no, not all can be saved, but all can be loved. And for me, live happy here on. 'Cause when I'm 99 and I'm looking back on my life, I wanna know I made it all that I could have. No, I made some bad decisions, but they made me wiser. And I smile and roll my eyes, think back to all the beautiful times I had, and know I made every second count. Cause we're all faced with choices, and we might choose wrong. It's a warpath of consequences and lessons learned. But if you hide away at risk of failing, then there'll be no sunshine to light the road. 'Cause when you're 99 and you're looking back on your life, you wanna know you made it all that you could have. No, you made some bad decisions, but they made you wiser. And you smile and roll your eyes, think back to all the beautiful times you've had, and know you made every second count. Every second count, every second, us when we're 99 and we're looking back on our lives. We wanna know we made it all that we could have. No, we made some bad decisions, but they made us wiser, and we'll smile and roll our eyes and think back to all the beautiful times we've had. And know we made every second count.
Of all the boys I've known, and I've known some, before I first met you I was lonesome. But then you came inside, dear, my heart grew light, and this old world seemed new to me. You're really swell, I have to admit you deserve expressions that really fit you. And so I've racked my brain hoping to explain all the things that you do to me. By mere Bisduchesne, let me explain. By mere Bisduchesne means that you're grand. By mere Bisduchesne, again I'll explain. It means you're the fairest in the land. I could say Bella, Bella, even sehr wunderbar. Each language only helps me tell you how grand you are. And I've tried to explain by mere Bisduchesne. So kiss me and say you'll understand. By mere Bisduchesne, you've heard it all before, but let me try to explain. By mere Bisduchesne means that you're grand. By mere Bisduchesne, such an old refrain, and yet I should explain. It means I am begging for your hand. I could say Bella, Bella, even sehr wunderbar. Each language only helps me tell you how grand you are. And I've tried to explain by mere Bisduchesne. So kiss me and say you'll understand. I could say Bella, Bella, even sehr wunderbar. Each language only helps me tell you how grand you are. And I try to explain by mere Bisduchesne.
Well, we're back at the ironing board and we've done both our sides, and now we're going to turn over this top just to make a hem. So we're going to turn it over once and we're going to iron it. Again, it's a bit fiddly, just make sure that your fingers are ahead of the iron. So we're going to do that all along this edge. And you see you've still got a raw edge, so we're going to turn that over again once we've done all of it. And now we've got a nice unraw edge. Or I don't know what the opposite of a raw edge is. Unraw. And then we're going to turn it over to make the bit that the string's going to go in, right down to the bottom of, let me just shift that over a little bit, because we're a bit confused there. So right down to the bottom of this bit here. So, you know, we cut that bit before, so it's right down as far as you can. And then that bit, so move it up a bit, move it up a bit for you. So that bit is going to be folded over and just make a crease there. So, you know, I hate ironing. I don't iron clothes and things, but it is pretty necessary when you're doing something like this because it just gives you that nice crisp edge there. You could pin it, but I don't actually have any pins, so once I've kind of done that edge, I don't worry too much about pinning it. So you're going to do that all along. So you're going to do fold it over once, fold it over twice, and then fold it over for that final one, all along this side, all along the other side, so that you've got an edge that looks like that. And you've got your hole here where your string will go into. You've got your nice neat edge there, and we're going to sew along here. And I'm thinking that maybe you're working as a bit of a family team, so you can maybe get your adult to do this ironing bit, which is probably the kind of tricky bit really, and they can also do this little bit of ironing as well. So you might want to, so if you've got two people doing the sewing bit and one person doing the ironing, you might want to do this bit so you can get them off and started sewing. So this is going to be your thread to go through the bag, and we don't really need all of this fabric, so we'll get rid of some of this. So you can have some fun just chopping that bit out. It doesn't need to be perfect because this is going to be inside. So this will be your only bit of waste really, which you could always use for something else. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the nice sides together. So the sides that have got the pattern on, or in this case it's ribbon, and we're going to put them together like that. And you might want to neaten up the edges a little bit because that edge is a bit scruffy, so we'll just make that edge a bit neater, she says, hacking away at it. So you can see I'm not kind of one of these sort of precise sewers, but if it looks alright at the end, that's kind of what really matters. So I'm going to chop that bit off to make it a bit neater. And what we're going to do is you're going to sew all along one end here and all along this end, but it might be good to get your ironer to just sew to iron along here, just so you've got a nice crisp bit and it all sticks together a bit better for you. So get your ironing adult slave to have a little go at that. And then you should have this bit and this bit. So if there's 3 of you doing it, so one of you can set off sewing this bit and one of you can set off sewing this bit, and it'll just get the job done twice as fast. So I'm going to show you next. I won't show you ironing that because I'm sure your adult slave helper can work out that they just need to iron along that line there. And then I'm going to show you sort of how to stitch these bits.
La gusta, la gusta, la gusta, la gusta, la gusta, la gusta, quanta la gusta, la gusta, la gusta, la gusta, la gusta, la gusta. We gotta get going, where are we going, what are we gonna do? We're on our way to somewhere, the 3 of us and you. What'll we see there, who will be there, what'll be the big surprise? There may be caballeros with dark and flashing eyes. We're on our way, pack up your pack, and if we stay, we won't come back. How can we go? We don't have a dime, but we're going and we're gonna have a happy time. Quanta la gusta, 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 quanta la gusta, la gusta, la gusta, la gusta, la gusta, la gusta. Now someone said he'd just come back from somewhere, a friend of mine that I don't even know. He told me that it's very close to nowhere. If that's the case, that's the place we all should go. We gotta get going, where are we going, what are we gonna do? We're on our way to somewhere, the 3 of us and you. What'll we see there, who will be there, what'll be the big surprise? There may be caballeros with dark and flashing eyes. I'll take a train.
You take a train.
You take a boat.
I'll take a boat.
You take a plane.
I'll take a plane.
You ride a goat.
You ride the goat.
Oh, we don't care. We'll either walk or climb, but we'll get there and we're gonna have a happy time. Quanta la gusta, la gusta, la gusta, la gusta, la gusta, la gusta. Now someone said he'd just come back from somewhere and picked a few petunias in the snow. He told me that it's very close to nowhere. If that's the case, that's the place we all should go. We gotta get going, where are we going, what are we gonna see? We're off to see somebody who's on his way to me. Gonna go your way, I'll go my way, wanna make a little bet? We'll all meet in the country, they haven't found us yet. We're on our way, pack up your pack, and if we stay, we won't come back. How can we go? We don't have a dime, but we're going and we're gonna have a happy, 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 happy. Quanta la gusta, la gusta, la gusta, gonna have a happy time.
so we've got our two bits. We've got this bit, which is your pillowcase, and we've got this bit, which is going to be your thread as well. So it's the same stitch that we're going to use on both of them. So we need to go in sort of one of the ends by the opening and start there, and we just go into the fabric. And remember, we've tied a knot in the end, because if you don't tie a knot there, then it's going to just go straight through the fabric. And we're going to do a running stitch like we did before, so remember that's going into the fabric. I find it difficult to do it this way, and then it's basically coming back out. So, but easier to do once you get the hang of it. So you might want to practice on a little bit of material, is to go in and then bring the needle back out. So in and back out, because then you're not having to go right in and risk picking up the fabric underneath. So some of the things that you might do when you start sewing is you might sew it to that, so just make sure that that's kind of well out the way, that other bit. And I have been known as well to also sew it to my own clothing, so just make sure that your clothes are well out the way. So we need to do fairly small little running stitch, so we don't want to do massive great big ones like that, because that will then make it a bit less secure. And because the thread's going right the way through this, we need it to be, the stitches to be fairly small. Take your time. The quicker you do it, the more likely it is that the thread's going to get tangled and messed up. So it's something you have to kind of do fairly slowly. But once you get a bit better, you can start putting it through the fabric a few times and pulling it through. That's this bit. You see I'm doing it quite slowly. That's normally the bit where it gets tangled and knotted. So just watch that you don't do that. So this is going to take you a little bit of time. So what I'm suggesting now is that you just have a little practice of that. When you get to the end of your thread, I'm not at the end, I've got quite a lot, but once you've got to the end, remember you need to go in and out and then through the loop to finish off. So you need to, on whoever's in charge of this one, needs to not stop like I've stopped, but go all the way along there, around there, round there, round there, and then to the other side here. So like I say, if you've got pins, you could have pinned all this, make it a bit easier, but I tend to not bother about pinning, because if you've got your slave ironer to do a good job of this, you've got all your creases in there, so it should be fairly straightforward, and it stops your yarn getting stuck around the pins as well a little bit. So person number 2, if you have the luxury of having 2 people, we're going to do the same sort of stitch, but we're going to do it sort of a little bit further in than we did the other one, because we've got quite a lot of fabric, so we don't need it this fat really. So we're going in. I've forgotten to put my knot in, so I'll put my knot in. So remember, you need your knot at the end of your wool. Thread again, going knitting mad. And then into your fabric. So remember, go a little bit further in. That not, oh yes, it's okay. So, and we're doing the same stitch, so the same running stitch that we did before. So you're picking up a bit of fabric. So basically you're going into the fabric, making a little dash, and you're coming back out again. And you're sewing all of this end all the way down here, like that, and then you're leaving this other end open. I'm going to finish there for today. I thought it was probably best to split the lesson into 2, and then you've got plenty of time to just sit and relax and sew the long bit and the top of your bag. Enjoy the fact that you're doing it by hand, you know, sit in the garden, sit and watch telly, you haven't got the noise of a machine and the electricity. So just enjoy it, take your time, don't rush. The more you rush with stitching, the more it's likely to go wrong. And we shall meet again at the next lesson. And I hope you enjoyed the class. Just a quick summing up from me. So thank you very much to our tutor today. Also thank you to all the musicians who inputted music. We are passionate about making sure that we pay musicians for the music that they provide, and also artists for the massive amount of time that they provide in producing the film and being here today. So if you do find that you've got a bit of spare change in your pocket, please do feel free to support us on patreon.com. So on this site you'll find different tiers that you can use to support the project. So the first one is just $3 a month, and that will with lots of people joining in, allow us to start paying some artists and get some new music on the films as well. And then if you find yourself in a wonderful position of having a little bit more and also want to start collecting some artwork, you can try the £50 tier, and that you'll get a piece of artwork from myself every month. So yeah, thank you very much for coming along. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please do share, and that's it from me. Cheerio.
Once we get to walk upon this earth, twice we get to make a mistake and learn. 3 times is enough to realize you're stronger than all of your doubts. And for me, live your days like every second